Hey, what's up?
Not much. I'm sorry about the little typo. I put February instead of March. I don't know what was
No,
happening.
you put some new stuff in the opening title. I like that.
Do you like it? Good.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you that second advertisement, it started early. I didn't touch any buttons, by the way.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So I have to tell everybody just real quick. When
What
we were in
happened? Yeah,
backstage,
this is awesome.
this is bizarre. Okay. The house I'm in is super haunted. Okay. But I thought the CEO, Lee Triana, my best friend, had come up behind me and was talking because I heard a lady talking. And then I took my headphone off like this and I said her name and she's like in the living room.
Morgan.
Yeah,
Thomas.
we got a couple people. So Mark saw it, but we didn't record it.
I thought it was Lee.
No.
But Lee was in the other room.
Yep. And you said she had gray hair.
She had short and gray hair. I was like, hey, Lee. But it wasn't. Yeah. So I saw her go to your left, and then she came back, and right to on your left shoulder, she walked by, and she was short and had gray hair, and it was solid as we are. And Gwen says, no, it wasn't. So that was pretty.
I heard her talking. I thought Lee was behind me talking at me, and I moved my ear because I couldn't hear.
I hope it happens.
Here we are.
So we can record.
I do too. Look for a soldier. Look for a man in a fedora, and look for a little short Asian woman, and then a gray-headed woman.
Yeah, that was.
Anybody that sees it, just tell us, please. And here is Nate. He is our guest for tonight.
Nate, dog.
There's Nate.
What's going on, Mark? Gwen, I feel like I just talked to you like 20 minutes ago.
I think you did about 10 minutes ago, actually.
It feels like 20. Mark, okay. I greatly appreciate you having me on for this conversation, brother.
No, we're gonna go so far down the friggin' rabbit hole. I was just telling.
Don't say rabbit hole because you're gonna pique Thomas Gormley's interest, and then he's gonna.
He's already here. We were about to pull him on with us.
I warned Glenn, and I'm gonna warn everybody. I'm gonna expose a lot of real shit tonight, and I mean it's like off the charts, off the wall. We're going to go so far down. We're going to need someone to come and get us.
See?
Thomas, are you coming to get us out of the rabbit hole?
so here's the funny thing, Gwen. You guys were talking about you guys seeing a supposed entity behind you. Did I not make a joke earlier?
Yes, you did. And I said, you shouldn't do that because I'm in a super haunted house.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah,
it happens every day I'm here.
You heard that, Nate, right? The story? Did you just hear that?
Yeah, I did. And here's the thing: I made a joke earlier, dude. Because the CEO introduced herself to me, and we talked for a few short moments.
Yeah.
There was a point in her podcast where I literally saw her walk behind Gwen, and I was joking, and I said, "Hey, was that a spirit behind you, or is that the CEO?"
I thought it was Lee. I really did.
So
that time it was Lee.
Kind of like.
And here is Thomas saying, I'm the keeper of the rabbit hole.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, I may not be on Facebook tomorrow after this. I may, the men in black may come and get me. I don't know, but I'm going to expose some real serious shit.
Well, I'm intrigued. I will tell you, I know about a few conspiracy theories. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist.
This might have to be 2 or 3 parts. I'm going to touch a little bit on Area 51. But that's a whole episode. It's going to have to be a whole, maybe 2-hour episode.
It will. Because let me tell you something. In 8th grade, I did my 8th grade book report on Area 51, and I accidentally, through searching the internet, found the underground building layout. And
that's more.
The FBI actually came to the school and tried to see who accessed the computer at the time.
It's S4. It's south of Area 51.
Yes,
where all the serious shit goes on. They've got the ships. They've got Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Got the bodies recovered after the Roswell crash. There was 2 crashes, one in Corona and one close to Roswell. They don't talk about the second crash. But the main crash, there was 4 aliens, and they took them to, and only 2 survived. They took him to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, then shipped him to Area 51, and the last one alive they called J-Rod. And
Yes.
and
so a lot of people focus on Area 51, but they don't even realize that Area S4 exists. So Area S4, if I'm not
S4 is
mistaken,
south about 10 minutes.
It's like what, like 5 clicks south, 15 clicks to the west or east, west, right?
Yeah.
And that's also the site where they perfected the napalm bomb.
Right. But there's a lot that goes on there. And then the Las Vegas airport, the terminal's called Janet, which means just another non-existent terminal. And if you fly the airplane out there, they put all the windows down. You can't look out or anything, or you can drive out there. It's like a 45-minute flight or an hour or
That's
two.
a fact.
Yeah, an hour or two by car. But yeah, we'll get into that. But there's so much. So what I'm going to
get into all that, and just so anyone out there watching this podcast knows, yes, I know a lot about ghosts, but I lived in Nevada. I camped just outside of Lake Mead for almost 9 months because my family
there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on there too.
And we accidentally stumbled across the gates of Area 51 once. And let me tell you something, when you hit a 17-foot to 15-foot perimeter, there absolutely are armed guards that come out of the bushes.
They're called
see them.
They're called camo dudes. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But Lake Mead, there's a naval base there that's underground, and they got subs there.
Yep.
Why do they need subs under Lake Mead when it's just, I don't even know how big the lake is, but there's subs there. There's a lot of shit that goes on at the dam. There's
a Hoover Dam. Yep.
Hoover Dam. So I thought I would start a little easy, a little one, and this, guys, will blow your mind. So You're
getting me all worked up over here. I'm all hot and bothered. What we got going on?
So you know how the big pharma company is? They would rather make millions of dollars than cure anybody.
Yes.
Yep.
There are cures for cancer. There are.
Yes, there are.
One is called ivermectin. The other was called methylene blue, I think. And the methylene blue is given to dogs. All right. It was originally to cure or help with malaria, but the methylene blue, which you can get online, will fight and help cure cancer, but they're not going to come out and say that. The ivermectin is you can get it at the stores where you get your dog supplies and everything. That is available, but the big pharma companies are not going to come out and say that this is going to help cure cancer, because the body can't fight cancer, because everybody's born. We all have cancer until it's activated. Every single human being has cancer.
It's a recessive gene.
Right. And when it's activated, the body can't fight it, because what the cancer cell does is put a protective shell around itself, and then the human body can't fight that. So they say, chemotherapy and radiation. Do you know more people die from radiation and chemotherapy? And I'll tell you why. Because chemotherapy and radiation cooks your inside. It kills your liver. It kills your heart. It kills your lungs. It kills all your organs. And some people do survive cancer, but the radiation and chemotherapy is the worst thing. So Google ivermectin. Google what I call the other one.
I'm intrigued
methylene blue. It's online. You can order it, but
I've never heard of it. But I can tell you, I remember that I wasn't alive for this, but back in the 70s, they released this, you are your own scientist kit, which came with little tiny bricks of uranium.
Really?
And they realized that the uranium was causing people to have cancer. And this is why I find it so odd that people collect uranium glasses just because they glow.
I remember those.
Light. They're iridescent.
I remember those from the 60s and the 70s.
Why would you want those in your house if they're putting off that
they didn't know, dude.
dose of radiation?
They didn't know.
But they know now, and still people collect.
I don't care. It's a big pharma company that's doing it. They're not going to come on and say, "Oh, go get methylene blue. Oh, go get ivermectin." It's for parasites, and cancer is a parasite. I've known people.
Hang on. What was the first one?
It's called ivermectin.
Don't they use that for tapeworms?
Yes. And it will
Yes, they
also kill
do.
parasites. It will also, but they're not going to tell you that. This has been out for
Mhm.
The
decades.
weird
Now,
shit that I know.
they're not going to tell you that
Mhm.
shit. And methylene blue is made. You know what? You want to hear something funny? So I'm on Instagram more than I am Facebook. So
I
I
thought
get
you were
on
gonna say ivermectin.
ivermectin.
I don't know how
So
to pronounce it. I've
I
never.
know I had to keep on looking it up how to say it. But I know old age, but
Hey, it is what it is, brother.
yeah. So it's funny. People say, your phone doesn't listen to you. Horse shit.
Oh, it does.
Well, yes, it
You know?
does.
Yeah, because I'm on, because every time I get on Instagram, the reels or whatever will be something different every time. So last night I'm outside smoking and I'm just scrolling. Every other video was about how to cure cancer, the ivermectin, the methylene blue. It all came up. Why would that come up? I've never
Let me tell you.
researched.
I know
Because
for a
you're talking
fact.
about it.
Yeah,
I know for a fact that your phone listens to you, and I know for a fact that it has an
especially
algorithm
iPhone.
that it can
Yeah,
detect,
yeah.
especially iPhone, which is what I use. Let me tell you something. There was a video that I shot probably 8 months ago, maybe a little bit longer,
Hmm.
where I was doing one of my debunking videos, and my only plausible explanation was I need to find a photo of a GIMP suit.
And it came up, didn't it?
You have no idea
The algorithm when I get on
the
Amazon and
random stuff
yeah,
that has popped up in my news feed saying, "Oh, purchases ball gags."
what,
Okay, like
what,
full on
okay.
zipper mouth suits. Like, I don't want none of that. I was looking for it specifically for a video.
Right. So the algorithm, and I can't remember what the word is, but you can Google it. When I buy eBay or Amazon, I go back to Facebook and then I get eBay and Amazon, and that's just how they
Yes.
do it. That's their algorithm. Everybody says, "Well, it must be listening to me." Well, yeah, but it's also their algorithm. Oh, here's something that'll blow your mind. And then I start talking about
Hey,
alkaline.
can I tell you one thing about the ethylene blue? Can I tell
Yeah.
y'all one thing?
Yeah.
When I worked in the healthcare, it was used to treat cyanide poisoning. Also,
Yes, that too. There's a
Yes.
long list, but they're not going
yes,
to
it
tell
does.
you. It doesn't 1,000%
Mm-mm.
cure cancer, but if it's caught early enough, it will prevent it. And they're not going to tell you. So I started getting videos about alkaline. They say in an alkaline environment, cancer, you can't get cancer or whatever, right? So then all the stuff come about the foods you eat and the vegetables you eat that are alkaline based. And then, do you know the number one vegetable that has 90% nicotine in it? I bet you won't guess. One vegetable has 90% nicotine. The freaking tomato has 90% nicotine in it.
Well,
Tomatoes
maybe I
have,
Really?
should eat more of those
yes,
because I don't eat tomatoes. Maybe I
I
should eat more
do.
of those. I quit smoking.
And then I started getting videos about how nicotine, they're lying to you about it, how nicotine can cure certain things. They put nicotine patches on. Dude, all these videos started coming up. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, why is all this shit coming up all of a sudden about nicotine, about alkaline-based vegetables, about the methylene blue, about ivermectin? Why is that all coming up? I never mentioned that. Now, when I
That
get
is weird.
on, and then this morning I was out watching.
They're listening to you.
You don't even want to go there.
They
But
are. They are.
So look,
so
if you disappear tomorrow, just
come
We
looking
say
for
know.
me,
I'm your
brother.
alibi. I got you.
Yeah. But oh yeah.
Nicotine patches and switch around.
Black. Oh, that's good, Thomas. Black. Oh, he's right.
Black garlic's
Black
good.
garlic, black oil seed, all this
Yep.
shit.
Mhm.
But is the big pharma company? Do you know where they first found the cure for AIDS and cancer at? Guess.
I don't remember.
What's that jungle? The Amazon.
Amazon.
That's where they first found the cure for AIDS. They've got a cure for cancer, AIDS. What's it called? When you forget your memory.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah. They got all the cancers, but Big Pharma is not going to come out and tell you that this will not necessarily cure, but I watched a video of a doctor saying the doctors make more money on radiation and chemotherapy. They said like the doctor will buy it for like 2,000 or 3,000, then he will sell it. Then he'll sell it to you for like 10 or 11,000, and then pocket the rest of the money.
They turn it over.
I don't doubt it, dude. I don't doubt it 100%.
I don't either. I don't doubt it either.
I don't doubt it.
I'm sorry. There is no way that I can go into a doctor, right? If I have a sore throat and they want to swab me for strep or whatever it may be, there is no way plausible that test costs $500 fucking when you can get.
Who's getting the money?
I'm sorry for dropping F-bombs. Am I okay to drop F-bombs? Because this conversation
absolutely
yes.
A lot of them.
Go ahead. We do all the time.
So here's the thing. There's no fucking way that test cost me $500 when I can get tests for COVID-19 for free and or less
that's something I
than
gotta tell you.
$3.
Yep.
Do you know that half of the here's something that the news ain't gonna tell you. That's why I don't watch. I watch what's it called on YouTube? News something. I can't remember what it's called. But do you know that dogs carry the COVID virus? Did you know that? They're not going to tell you that.
And I did about a month ago. I found out.
And let me tell you what, you know how, because I questioned how in the hell did they come out with a virus? I mean, an antidote, whatever you call it, a shot in a couple of months, because they already had it, because dogs carry COVID and that's how they take care of the dogs. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but is your news going to tell you that? Fuck no.
Nope.
COVID as we know it, in my opinion, going off of the conspiracy theory.
Hold on, really quick.
Right?
And do you know 90% of the COVID tests were already already had COVID, the COVID virus in it?
I've heard that.
It's true.
But without
go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry.
Without scientific documentation,
you'll learn.
I have to take that specifically, at word of mouth. Because I am one of those people that I believe in the facts. I believe in what I see, what I know. I do not know that is literally what's happening.
Well,
but I cannot.
There's certain things that I know. I'll talk to you privately, but there's certain things. By all means. My raccoons,
That was probably
raccoons got it too.
I will talk to you privately because there are certain things that I cannot that I know 1,000% are fact that I can't talk about on here, because if it got out, everybody would get in trouble.
That's fine.
So we'll talk one day, and I'll tell you. I will tell you all the shit that I know. Okay, the next one. Let's go to the Vatican. Don't get me started on the Vatican.
Oh, so
this will be interesting.
Okay, so the Vatican. There's, I think they said 5 or 6 miles of stuff.
Underground vaults.
An underground vaults. The Library of Alexandria, that was set on fire, and they've got all that shit. Do you know that there's 13 arks? There wasn't just one ark they talk about in the Bible.
I'm aware.
There's 13, and they've got 2 of them in the Vatican. They got the chronovisor, which is kind of like a time travel thing.
Yep, it's a time travel thing. And the Vatican,
they can look into the past with the chronovisor.
Yes, so the Vatican saw it, that if it fell into the wrong hand.
It's holding so much. And the spear of destiny, the spear that poked Jesus, that's in there too. All that shit's in there.
That one I'm not sure of, but I do know the coronavirus is in there.
The spear of destiny is in there. I got to be careful what I say, but yeah,
I can go and explore the Vatican archives.
That's never gonna. Well, you know what? I would like to be able to become like a ninja and become invisible, and
you know what? If I had a superpower, invisibility would be it, because
that'd be my number one.
Into the fucking archives and have a look. But I
cannot. There's so much. There's the Book of Enoch.
Yes, the
That's a
Book
whole
of
nother
Enoch.
story. That's in there. Why wasn't the Book of Enoch put in there? Because it tells the truth. And
Here's the thing, like in the modern version of the Bible, I think there's like what, 13 books?
yes, and the Book of
13
Enoch
books, right?
was supposed to be one.
If you
Yes.
actually look at the Vatican version of the Bible that is written in Latin in the original language, there is 22 books.
Yes.
And they have left out the other 11 books
Because
Why?
it tells the truth of what really happened. That's like if I'm going to write, okay,
Yes.
you tell me, okay, by saying what I'm going to say, I'm not saying that I don't believe in God and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what I know and what I heard. Okay. The all the stuff that they're hiding in the Vatican. That's like you tell me Jesus was from the Middle East. Is there anybody in the Middle East who has the name Mark, Matthew, or Luke?
Not that I've ever heard.
Okay. So let's say I'm going to write the Bible for the first time. I'm going to all the Gospels and everything. I start out by writing the original, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all that. Okay. Okay.
You
I
really
know,
are
right?
trying to drag me down a rabbit hole.
Okay. So
and I'm here for it.
I tell you, Nate, and then by the time it gets to Gwen, how many changes are going to be of my story?
Here's the thing.
When you get it and when it goes to Gwen.
Here's
or
the thing.
100 people.
When it comes to the gospel, as people would per se it, or the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is 57 different versions printed worldwide.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
Every single interpretation says something different.
From the beginning,
it's all about how it's worded.
Interpretation. You're
right.
right.
Do not realize.
You're 100% right.
The Bible is the word of God, quote unquote, as interpreted by
man. And I'm going to add my shit. Now I'm going to take shit out. Then I'm going to send it to you. Then you're going to send it to Gwen.
Exactly. So what's to say that the Bible per se, as when we look at it from a biblical standpoint, not a physical standpoint, biblical standpoint, right? They set down these commandments.
Yeah, he did.
And here's the thing. Rules are meant to be broken. And I feel if God was an almighty, all-knowing being, that he would know that rules were going to be made to be broken. So what is to not say that these commandments were set in place by the being that rules the underworld, knowing that the humans, given the fact that they are prone to make mistakes, are going to break said commandments. So maybe
knowingly.
Maybe we're not actually reading the Bible as pertains to God, but maybe we're reading the Bible as it pertains to Satan.
Right. And, and I don't know if it's in the Bible because it's been a long time since I read it, or if it's the Book of Enoch, the Nephilim. You know what the Nephilim is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angels having sex with human women and giants. The Nephilim, you're right. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's in Enoch or where it is, but
it's in Enoch, yes.
And that's maybe another reason why.
I can also guarantee you that I'm pretty sure that Gwen knew nothing about me having any kind of idea about any of this.
Yeah, I knew you did.
I knew
you did. You did. I'm shocked.
So, and they talk about this and that, and I'm saying, I know it's gonna, people are like, what's he talking about? Well, everybody's got their own deal, right? So I'm not saying I do or don't believe in all that, but as much as I've learned over the last, Jesus Christ, almost 40 years, 42 years.
So you don't know how old you are?
I'm just trying to think how long I've been doing this.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, I don't know I remember how long I've been doing this, but I've learned a lot. And like I said, we'll set a time to do the Area 51 thing, but
also, I hate to interrupt. We'll get back to conspiracy theories in a moment. I want one of those fucking shirts.
I do too.
I can give you a link. I have these made on TeePublic.
I want one of those shirts.
I'll send you the link. But yeah, it's what I do. You go on TeePublic and you put any design you want on a shirt. Now, if you get the shirt, I've got a hoodie of this. You can get hats, pins, coffee mugs, decals.
I don't wear hoodies, and the only coffee mugs
Well,
I have
it's
are
cold
my,
as shit out right now, and I like the alien. Speaking of aliens,
that actually came from Roswell.
oh, I
Ooh.
love Roswell. I want to go back.
And
Yeah,
I've got my
let's see
Danny Perez Ouija board.
that's nice,
That's
dude.
kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so this.
Oh yeah, I
actually
also make decals. So if you guys, I love that. That's awesome. If you guys
this
need
actually came
decals,
from I had a friend of mine that went to Roswell because he knew I was into the paranormal, right? He
Mhm.
sent me this. He sent me
that's
a
cool. I love
bobblehead,
that.
and he sent me a vial of soil from the supposed
Rabbit hole
Roswell
mug.
crash site.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well,
Thomas,
mine says eat, drink, and be scary, so mine's not as good,
Thomas,
but it's
Rabbit hole
Lee's.
mug.
your
Thomas,
rabbit hole.
Thomas, I'm gonna make you a decal that says rabbit hole mug.
No, hang on. His rabbit hole mug, and I know what he's referring to because me and him had a conversation before the podcast, and right now we're feuding. But I love Thomas to death, but Thomas, your rabbit hole mug is not up here because it's the only mug I use to drink
I'm
coffee.
gonna make
in
him
my
a
house.
decal. Yeah, if you guys need anything, anybody out there, message me on Facebook
need
or whatever,
one.
and I can make any decal. I can make any design. You know, I've got like I don't know where I've got like 1 million decals that anything that's
So,
I print and
let
make
me ask you,
decals.
Mark. I know it's your show, but
No, go ahead.
I
man.
always have a tendency to kind of retort and ask questions. So, are we talking about conspiracy theories as far as when it comes to ghosts, aliens, cryptids? Are we talking about stuff that has to
Anything,
do with
dude.
CIA? Are we talking about the JFK assassination? Are we talking about
Let's talk about that.
Yes,
talk about
let's.
that.
Let's.
Okay,
Yes.
so all of the files, you need the coffee every morning to go down. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. That's the coffee.
So,
that's the coffee mug I use every day.
This is, like I said, I have seen things that I can and can't discuss here, but the all 2,500 4,500 files have been released. One, what's his name? Worked in the book depository, but he was a patsy. He was Oswald. He was set up. He never shot at all. There was one from the grassy knoll. The fatal shot of Kennedy was the driver. They now when Zapruder first put the film out, you couldn't see it because they made it so you couldn't see it. But now the video's been released where you can see the driver turn around with a gun, popping Kennedy in the head. That's why Kennedy's head goes back and not forward. They said he got shot. They didn't. He got shot by the fucking driver. Boom. It was all set up. It was all set up. Now, I've heard different versions of why they killed.
The only one that realized that.
No. So I don't know why. I've heard 5 or 6 different things of why they killed Kennedy. But the main thing I've heard is because he was going to disassemble the CIA. He was going to come out and say aliens were real. And I've heard different versions. But Oswald I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm pretty good with my gun, but there's no way that someone is that good. Even snipers today couldn't even do it.
Right. Now, that's actually, you answered my question because I was going to say, Oswald was in the Marines.
Yeah.
He was an expert marksman.
But
given the distance, and you have to factor in the wind as well. So you obviously have to factor that in if you're sharpshooting. So given the distance, the wind, you actually see Kennedy's
Yeah, that's
head.
it. Charles Harrison. Yes. What do you say? Charles Harrison is said to be
Charles Harrison.
Yes.
Woody Harrison's dad. Yes.
Yes, he's 100%
right.
You actually see Kennedy's body move in 2 different directions.
Yeah.
Yes.
First, you see him kind of shift to the left. Here's the thing.
When he got shot in the throat. The dude on the grassy knoll shot him in the throat.
Yes. And then you see the driver turn. And here's the thing. If you still frame this and you do it frame by frame, as far as I do my breakdowns. And now, Mark, you have inspired me to do another breakdown because I'm going to break down the grassy knoll.
Go ahead.
Yep.
And I will gladly.
Oh, and someone was in the sewer too, in the little sewer grate.
Yep. And I will gladly give you credit because now I have the feeling to break down the grassy knoll. I don't know why, but
do you know how easier it was? That I don't see that happening today, but back in the 60s, you could get away with anything as far as like
I
assassinations and stuff.
disagree. I disagree.
You think it'd be easier today?
No, I don't think it's be easier, but I think they could get away with it. Why?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because if you think about it, if you look back at the quote unquote attempted Trump assassination, right, where he got
Don't get me
his ear
started with
shot,
that.
people knew he was on top of that building 10 minutes before the shot was ever fired. Why in the
You're
fuck
right.
did the Secret Service react?
You don't
That
wanna
was
know.
all a political ploy
You don't
to
want to
make
know.
Trump
That's all I
look
can
better.
say. Yeah, you don't want to know. That's all I'm going to say. If I came out, if
I
I
do want to
said,
know. That's why I'm asking.
okay,
the
we'll
question.
talk, but I don't know who's watching this or who's going to watch
Danny,
this.
good seeing you as well.
Okay,
Mark, I get that.
but we will talk.
You did have me on a podcast
Right.
about conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah. Okay, but I'm saying there's certain shit I cannot say on here, even though I want to really, really bad. So,
Okay.
moving on.
I respect that.
Yeah.
But I will have a talk and I'll tell you everything I can't say here. We have to do this one quick because this could be another show. The moon landing.
Oh man, the fucking moon landing.
And then we'll do one on flat Earth bullshit too. But
are we going to talk about how Neil Armstrong was never the first person to step foot on the moon? It was actually Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, let's go back. And it kind of involves UFOs. In the early 1900s, Admiral Byrd flew, and Hitler wasn't killed in the bunker. He went to Antarctica. He went to Antarctica, right?
He did.
In a U-boat or submarine, whatever you want to call it. So in the right, I think before or after, because all the Nazis headed south to Antarctica. So they went, and there was UFOs with Nazi it's called Die Glock or the bell or whatever the German word is for it, whatever. So the Nazis,
I think it's the bell, yes.
Yeah, Die Glock or whatever the German word is. I can't remember. But they went down there. Admiral Byrd went with ships and everything, and the Germans were there with the UFOs and everything, and they basically blew the shit out of them, and then Admiral Byrd retreated. So, since before World War II, the Nazis had help from, I don't know what, there's 66 alien species that exist. Okay. And I hope I don't get in trouble for this. But well, that's another thing really quick. Oh, that's your hand. I thought someone was behind you. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Gwen's hand. There's somebody walking up and down the hall.
Yeah.
So, and there's nobody walking
down. I did this, but I
saw Gwen's hand. I'm like, oh,
this is my hand. I was sitting like this. Yeah.
So where was it? So the Nazis had help from, and I can't remember what race it was. I think it was maybe the Greys or whatever. So the Nazis had help. The Nazis, okay, it's going to sound crazy, but I promise you it's truth. The Nazis had the first base on the far, everybody calls it the dark side of the moon, but I call it the far side of the moon. The Nazis have bases and still have bases, and they were the first ones on the moon in 1938 with the help of the aliens. It's all on there. And then they've got bases up there right now. There are bases up there. There was glass. The moon isn't real. The moon was towed in from the Anunnaki. Enlil and Enki. That's a whole nother. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
That's a whole nother thing. But the moon
was a whole nother story.
The moon was towed in by the Anunnaki, and then the Germans were the first ones to have bases up there. They still do. We have bases up there. So all that shit. But you're right. But the moon landing, I believe 100%. Everybody says, well, about the flag, there's no wind. But see, people don't want to know. They just want to believe the bullshit, and they don't want to do any research. The reason the flag moved is because it had a spring in it. Then everybody says, well, how did they get the buggy up there? The buggy folded in half and was under the lemon. They pulled it out and opened it up.
That is true.
Yeah. So everybody's saying that it was bullshit. It wasn't. But how can NASA lose the tapes? Because when we saw them on the moon, that wasn't live. It was NASA, there was a video of their camera going back to NASA, and it was on TV, and then the TV cameras were on the TV that it wasn't transferred, it wasn't live. I mean, well, it was, but we weren't seeing it.
It was, but it wasn't. It was
it was delayed, but the TV camera, right.
It's what we would call a delayed live.
Right. The TV cameras were on, but yes, but there's also 8 minutes of transmission missing. That when Neil Armstrong talked about what he saw the spacecraft over the horizon. He saw all kinds of shit. And do you know that there was Apollo 18, 19, and 20 that was top secret that went?
Yep.
It didn't stop at 17. It was 18, 19, 20.
No.
And 20 is where they found that big alien ship up there. But yeah, and don't get me started on Mars. Holy Christ. We'll be here all night.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Mars
That's another one. But yeah, it's that they went, but people say they didn't go. There's a firmament. Yeah, go to hell and all that stuff and everything. But what people don't want to talk about, they will say the moon landing was fake and everything, right? And they'll say all these well, how come you can't see the stars? Well, because of the camera, and there's no atmosphere of it. That's why you can't see the stars, because the cameras at that time could only focus on what was there, the light. You're not going to see the stars because of the no atmosphere and because of the camera setting. So yes.
I myself have seen inconsistencies that I don't agree with when it comes to the moon landing. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how the flag is waving, because
there's a spring in it. There's a spring in it. Right, there's a spring in it.
So
100%.
But NASA
no, I agree with you. Yes, they have.
Have they?
Yes.
Okay, so I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but I agree with you. Well,
there's just so many inconsistencies.
No,
I don't
they just
understand.
landed a spaceship. Someone just landed a spaceship 2 days ago on there, a little spaceship, and I don't know who it was. It wasn't Russia or China. It was somebody that they just landed like a small car-sized spaceship on there 2 days ago.
You know what they need to do? They need to land a fucking lander in Thomas Gormley's backyard and monitor what the fuck he's doing.
So people say that we didn't go, but you know there's reflectors on the moon that we've actually shot lasers at to come back to
yeah, no.
Okay, and not only that, but with certain telescopes, I've seen them zoom in to the landing sites where you could see the landing sites. You could see the tracks and the buggy. So I don't know how people are saying that we didn't go. But anyways, what I was going to say is, well, people will diss the moon landing, but one thing when I talk to them about it, that they shut up and won't discuss. Okay, just for sake of argument, I'll agree with you. We didn't land on the moon, but explain something to me. So that's when us getting the spacecraft, supposedly, and they launch, and they go into orbit. 3 days later, they're on the moon, right? Or whatever. Okay. So explain to me if they're going to fake that. Dude, no, you don't want to go there, Thomas. But
no, Thomas, they love the activity that they get from you because they think they're in jail, and anyone else out there can just kind of read between the lines.
So what the other people, non-believers, don't want to talk about is, okay, I'm going to agree with you. Let's say I agree with you about faking the moon landing, but explain something to me. How are you going? Are you going to fake them coming back from the moon and all of a sudden a capsule appears out of the air and parachutes? Where are you going to drop that from?
No, and I agree with you on that point. 100%.
But they don't want to talk about that. They shut up when you say that.
It's like when people look at the Patterson-Gimlin film, okay? One of the clearest footages of Bigfoot you ever see. And they have stabilized said footage and even been able to show the calf muscles moving as the creature walks. Okay? Yep. So Bigfoot, is Bigfoot technically considered a government cover-up?
I wouldn't put it past them.
People don't want them to know that they exist, but I'm sorry, there's no way millions of people are seeing this said creature. It does not exist.
Right.
But I'm using that as an example, but going back to the moon landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that the moon landing was faked? You know what? I'm be honest with you. I'm 50-50 on the fence because it could go one way, it could go the other. You have to look at the evidence presented.
But at that time, remember, we were supposed to be in space race with Russia. But here's
Right.
the thing: the Germans that would have to fake the moon landing. Yeah, and there was over 50,000 people who were involved with with NASA, and they all have to lie. Okay, so we're going to pay 50,000+, or maybe it was 100,000 people. I can't remember how many were involved with the moon landing. It was a lot. So you're going to pay everybody to shut up. Okay.
I'm just gonna straight up tell you,
Right.
when I thought we were discussing the conspiracy theories, I thought we were going into like Bigfoot being an interdimensional being and stuff.
I've heard that too. No, that's
I
what
didn't,
we,
I didn't
No,
realize the route we were going. I mean, am I here
No.
for it? I'm just
Yeah.
letting you know I wasn't fully
Yeah.
prepared for what we're discussing. So
I mean, I could drop, and then there's underground bases. They're called DUMBs. They're called deep
Oh, yeah.
underground military bases.
oh yeah,
And they run from California all the way across the United States. They're on maglev trains, magnetic levitation, which is just a couple inches off the train, and they go over 1,000 miles an hour. And they're in Arizona, California, Idaho, New Mexico,
reason-
Alabama,
hence the reason-
Tennessee.
hence
Yeah,
the reason
they're
that
everywhere.
Elon Musk
Oh
brought
God,
up the idea of building an underground tunnel that goes underneath the ocean.
they're already
to
there.
Paris.
They're already there.
Because
It's
he
all there.
said he said, I want to quote this verbatim, that you could get to Paris in 2.4 hours and need 5 minutes of slowdown time.
Yep.
So if they already have these facts, then those facts have already been input into science and tested.
There's already
Yes.
been a soft disclosure about. Do you know what the number one reason for them not talking about aliens and UFOs and the crafts and everything? Religion. It would. Let's see. The man that has a basic extra book, and we always worked on that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But is religion. That's the number one reason. That's why they've been. Why do you think they dropped the Men in Black to get us? There's already been a lot of soft disclosures, and mark my words, 2 years tops, and all this shit about aliens and everything. They're going to try. It's called Project Bluebeam. They're going to try to do a fake alien invasion. They tried that with all of those drones. That was not. It was the government, not the government we know about, but it was
It wasn't
the
the first time
government.
they tried it.
What?
It wasn't the first time.
No,
It
they
was the
no.
tried
first time.
And all of a sudden, I
There
mean,
was
they
the
were
Battle
they
of,
were they were over
I think,
Nashville.
I think it's called the Battle of San Diego.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it was not the first
I'm
time
tell-
they tried to do this.
from what I know and what I've been told, 2 years tops. 2027 March. No, March. You mark my words, 2 years, March 2027 is when they're going to totally come out and tell everybody everything. They were going to try to do, it's called Project Bluebeam, where they were going to shoot not lasers, but they were going to shoot holographic images and pretend that we are being invaded. Well, that didn't happen, obviously, because they couldn't get away with it. So they tried the drone scare. That didn't work. People were shooting at that shit. And now, but that's why all these alien movies have come out, Men in Black and whatever else, to get us used to it. They've already done a soft disclosure. They're going to come out, and it's gonna. I've known this shit, dude, for, oh my God, 30 plus years. It's going to come out, and it's going to be it. Everything is going to come out. And
I can tell you that I'm here for it. If there is a being out there of higher intelligence,
there is.
Then why would I not?
There's,
they may be a violent being. I really don't know. If there is a creature out there of higher intelligence, then why would I not want to learn and adapt to their ways?
It's funny that you would say Bigfoot being, it's called not Project Blue Book, Project something. I've got a PDF that I'll send to you, and it lists all the alien races. And it's funny you mentioned Bigfoot being interdimensional, because there's 66 known races of aliens, and Bigfoot is listed. There's white, right? But Bigfoot is listed at number 13. Why is Bigfoot listed as an alien? Is he interdimensional? Yes. I don't know. I've seen him.
I think he. My vote is that he is, but that's me.
My vote is that they bury their dead because
Right.
they're more human-like.
Yeah,
Or they
true.
cannibalize their dead.
I kind of think so.
When I think
don't know.
you were a full fan of that last time.
Not unless I'm
They straight
standing 10
Jeffrey
feet from one,
Dahmered
but
their corpses.
right.
I think
Oh,
they
God.
do, but I also think they're interdimensional. But if they
Yeah, I
die
think
here,
so.
I think they.
Because
look
they've
at
been
it as like
spotted with
this.
UFOs too. I've heard
if-
stories about UFOs coming over and all these beams of light come down, all of a sudden Bigfoot's there. So I don't know if it's bullshit
I'm not
or
gonna
what.
say it's not plausible that they're not interdimensional. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's not plausible that they're not a form of alien compared to your typical grays or
Right.
any other
And the
being.
reptilians and
The
this and
you
the
know what? We're
hybrids
gonna leave
and
Donald Trump out of this.
there's let's see, there's
People say
small
Thomas.
grays,
People
medium,
say they. Yeah, people say they see unexplained sights in the
Yeah,
sky just before
yeah.
Bigfoot experience.
He's 100% right. He is.
Mhm.
But
'Cause
let's see.
I can
There's
tell
a
you,
small,
there is-
medium, large gray. There's the hybrids. There's reptilians, who are the nastiest, who live on the other side of Mars and underground. That's another story. There's oh God. There's
Nancy
the
Pelosi.
Nordics, the tall, white, thin ones with the long blonde hair. There's a Nord. There's 66. I'm gonna find that PDF, Nate, and I'll send it to you. It'll blow your mind. It's like Project Blue something or another.
Yes,
I can't remember.
send it my way because I'm interested.
It'll blow your mind. The things. I mean, there's a lot more that I wish I could talk about, but see, what's another good one, really quick? We talked about the Vatican. We talked about UFOs.
What do you think about the 9/11 conspiracy?
Oh, holy shit. Here we go. Yes. What I know or what I know.
And this is why I'm going to make a good podcast host.
Yes,
Okay,
you are.
Do you want to know what I know or do you want to know what I know?
I want to know.
I want to know what you know.
No, I want to know an equal median. I want to know what you know that is not going to get you blacklisted, but I also want to know enough to make it make sense.
I've signed NDAs that are expired anyway, so screw them. I'll get off her knock at my door. Men in Black.
Let's talk about it.
So what's his name? Larry. So I think it's Larry Weinstein or whatever. I can't remember his last name. 2 months before 9/11, he bought World Trade Center 1 and 2 and that whole area. He made it private. 2 days later, he insured it for, guess what? Terrorism. Okay. After they came down, 2 days later, he got an insurance check for $450 million because he had it insured for terrorism, 1, thermite. Okay. Oh God, this is I'll try to get as much in as possible. Thermite.
So here's my question, Mark, before you continue this conversation. Did you really think I did not do my research on conspiracy theories before we had this conversation?
He knows. I'm telling you. Nate knows. He researches everything.
But I love this. Please continue.
So, a month before 9/11, they revamped the elevators, but not with their main elevator contract. They had a new company come in.
That is correct.
6 weeks before, they got rid of all the security. They got rid of all the bomb sniffing dogs, and they came in and they did a job on it. They planted shit. They planted shit in there, and then what they did is they put thermite. If you look at pictures, I was going to get a bunch of pictures tonight, and I forgot, but you could see part of the beams on the ground, and they're cut at an angle. You know what? The only thing that does that is thermite. You could see the little things popping before it came down. Okay,
I have a quick question.
It came down at free fall speed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
so going now.
What you're discussing basically is a demolition.
It was demo, dude, 1,000%.
Where they would put everything at a specific point,
yes,
and it would collapse. Similar as what you would see with
Thomas
the
is
Mirage.
right. Right.
in Las
What about the
Vegas.
parts of the building
Controlled
shut down?
explosion.
Yeah. It wasn't shut down for
So here's
renovation.
my
It was
question.
shut down to be loaded with thermite.
So
You
hang
could
on.
go ahead.
Here's my question. Without you ever knowing that I was going to kind of flip the table and ask you that question,
Hmm.
why would you have ever went and thought of the idea of looking up photos?
Because that's how I research. But I've seen a million
I
videos.
love
I've
it.
seen a million
I love
pictures.
it.
So what they did is you can see the squibs blowing,
It was
and you
a
can hear,
demonstration.
you could see the smoke and popping out and everything. But see, back then we didn't have the technology that we have today, and people didn't think this way back then. Oh yeah, the friggin' Arabs and Osama bin Laden. Oh my God, don't get me started there. You know,
That's not.
okay, so they came in, they got rid of the bomb sniffing dogs so they could plant all the explosives. In one of the pictures, after the explosion or after it was hit, came down, and then the beam was cut at an angle. Only one thing does that: thermite. They planted.
Thermite, yes.
They did.
It is true.
Because every other floor was a load-bearing floor, and they made sure they hit every load-bearing floor from the bottom up. And you can watch it, and you can see the little things popping in the smoke, and then all that fire. It looks like a welding thing. All that is thermite cutting through the beams.
So
Now, go ahead.
From someone who lives and works bridge work, like I understand fracture critical members.
Right.
Fracture critical members, they have to do with buildings as well as they have to do with bridges.
Everything, right.
So here's the thing. If you hit a fracture critical member and that fracture critical member fails, the whole structure and or bridge is going to fail. It is going to collapse upon itself.
Do you know Osama bin Laden was staying with the Bushes when that happened?
You know what? He belongs in the bushes.
No, I'm serious. He was with
I'm sorry. That was a poor joke. I misunderstood. You meant
oh my God. He was in the United States when that happened.
I misunderstood that completely because I was thinking
he was staying with Bush. He was staying with Bush Senior. And why do you think you see the video with idiot Bush in the school when his aide comes up and tells him, he's like, he knew it was a matter of time. You know, they sent 2 fighters after one of the planes, and they didn't, and they saw that plane and they could have taken it down and they didn't. Then I've heard stories that, because if you look at it, bottom of the angle of the plane's going in, there's one little black thing underneath the plane. Everybody said it was a bomb that the planes never hit. But I've heard stories that people weren't on. They took the people, they took them somewhere else, and they had duplicate planes, and they crashed those planes with no remote control into it. I've heard a million different things. And do you know that I just heard a story that Flight 93 never hit the field where it hit? They took that, and then someone says, just in 2003, with the same tail number, when planes crash and they make a new one, they don't use the same tail numbers, okay?
No, never.
So someone said they saw the tail number from Flight 93 at one of the airports in New York in 2003. So there's just there's things I know, and there's things that are like, maybe, but there's just so much out there that the planes never hit. And it wasn't a plane that hit the Pentagon. It was a missile, 1,000%. Because there was another video of a different angle that I saw one time, and then they took it down, and it looked like a friggin' cruise missile or whatever they're using now.
It did. I agree. Yeah. I've seen that video.
Because they said that these terrorists never were on the airplanes, that it was all faked. And they also said that people supposedly that called their families from all the flights in Flight 93 couldn't do it back then because how the cell phones were different back then. And they even had videos explaining that at that height, you cannot use your cell phone back then. So there's just so much.
Back then, your cell phone would have been physically disabled at about
it was like 10 or 12,000 feet, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,100 feet.
No, it's higher than that. It was like 8,000 feet. They couldn't, but see, back then they didn't have all.
I'm not an aeronautical engineer.
Well, I'm just trying to
paranormal
remember all the.
investigator.
Dude, I watched a shit ton of videos, but
No, I love your insight. Like I love what I'm getting right now.
But they couldn't do that, and then they said the people weren't on it. Now I've heard of military operations that will, like the flight. What was it? The MH, whatever that supposedly went into the ocean. It didn't. The flight that got lost from Malaysia or whatever.
Yep.
That they took, and they tried to sell that the pilot was suicidal horseshit. They took the people and put them somewhere else, and they did. I
can also guarantee you that they most likely found Amelia Earhart's plane.
Yeah, they did. Well, I heard. I don't know.
I can't remember where, but they did.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think that. Let's see. I think they did, just like. And have you guys heard the story that it wasn't the Titanic? It was
the Lusitania.
Yeah. No. Because John Astor or JP Morgan, one of them, built it, and the Titanic already had damage, so they switched the names on them.
On a sister ship.
Yeah, and JP Morgan didn't get on that day because.
But it wasn't just JP Morgan.
It was John Astor.
It was
JP Morgan, John Astor, and I can't remember who else. 5
or 6 different.
Millionaires
at
that time, right? And that they didn't get on it because they knew they were against the Federal Reserve, which was almost brand new. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never really did a ton of research on that. Yeah, it was a sister
ship that was built.
It wasn't the Titanic. It wasn't the Titanic. What I heard.
It was not the Titanic.
But there's. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about that because there's other things that I focus on and everything.
I do.
Yeah. But
that's a whole other conversation for another time because I know we're reaching our end. I know you're about to say we're reaching our end.
I'm fine. So look, a few more minutes is fine.
I will gladly come on and discuss that, but I can tell you that when the Titanic was built, there was a sister ship that was built.
Hey, Lee.
Almost identical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, I got your message, and I will send you that stuff when we're done here. But anyways,
right.
What I'd like to do.
There
is a sister ship. Yep.
That was built. That was almost identical to the Titanic.
Right.
The only difference was.
Thank you, Lee.
The bottom hole layout.
Yeah.
So when the bottom hole on the Titanic was built, it was built with X amount of rooms. The sister ship actually decreased that rooms by I think
You're
it was
welcome.
3
Thank
rooms
you, Lee.
to give, I guess you could say, proper buoyancy.
Yeah.
So really quick, go ahead. I was gonna say no. I was just go ahead and finish.
If you go and watch all the videos of the wreck of the Titanic, you know what? For me, Rose could have gave fucking Jack room on that door. I'm sorry, there was.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
Do you know? Well, you know what? Well, you know why? Because the movie James Cameron, but yeah, the
hate Leo DiCaprio.
The MythBusters proved that he could have been on there. But really quick before we go, I want to mention the con Saturday, May 3rd this year in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. We are doing our Shadows.
God, I wish I could be there.
I know. I'm going to have you guys next year. We're going to have a really good time next year.
All Access Network people, I hope will get to come next year. That would be awesome. And the Britannica. That's it. The Olympic and the Britannica. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, it was the Olympic. But anyways, it's Red Bull. I've already posted a lot on All Access and on Ghost of Tennessee. I'm working with Lee and Gwen. We're gonna start I think Lee, I sent Lee that orb picture from the Thomas house. I thought we're gonna do a little commercials and everything. But go to Fresh. The ticket link is on Ghost of Tennessee. The ticket link and tickets are only $10. And if you buy a ticket, you will get a code. We will send you a code for a 3-month free trial to Paraflix.
I just want one of the shirts.
Well, you can go to TeePublic, Ghost of Tennessee, and I'll put the link up to buy our Ghost of Tennessee Ghost of Tennessee shirts.
Look, man, I want a shirt to support you. Do I at least get
I
a
appreciate
discount?
that. Yeah, I can even get one and send it to you guys. I'll do that. But
I
That'd be
yeah.
was
cool, too.
literally just messing with you. I just want to
I know,
support
no,
you. I want to
yeah, I
support you.
appreciate that. We appreciate it. But yeah, go to Ghost
Well,
of
I
Tennessee.
want to say, if anybody can come
We're gonna
to
have
Mark's
some good people.
Paracon, it's going to be fun. I
We're
wish
gonna
I could come.
We're gonna have Miranda, who I absolutely love, the Ghost Biker. We're going to have Shane and Angie, which I'm really excited to meet
Yes.
them.
So here's my question for you, Mark. Would I be able to do it virtually?
Yes, we can hook you up.
There's an idea. Yes.
If we can do it virtually, then you have me booked.
All right, because we're working. I'm working on. I was going to do individual speakers, but we don't have enough time, and we're only doing it one day this year. But next year we're going to do it 2 days. But yeah, we'll talk and we'll work something out.
Yeah,
I'm doing the panelists.
I cannot travel to Tennessee at that point in time because I have been invited by multiple people to that event. But unfortunately, the same month my daughter's graduating from high school, so that's
May's a big month.
That's more important to me.
Yeah, but we're gonna have my buddy Rick McCallum, who's with the Hollywood Ghost Hunters.
I know him. Yep.
He's a stunt person. He's written books. We're gonna have him and Marty and Michael Perry. I love these guys. They're psychic mediums. Michael, contacts with someone, and then Marty, his wife, draws it out, and it's incredible. They're going to be there Saturday night. You can go, and I listed the ticket link for them. We're doing a mediumship Saturday night from 7:30 to 8:30, and then we're going to ghost hunt all night. And we got let's see, I'm trying to think who else we got.
I love it.
We got them coming. We got haunted. Let's see. Naked Cabin. We can go live for our event. I can stream you guys.
Yes.
Yes, we can do that. We'll talk about that's a good idea, Lee. I'm glad I thought of it. No, I'm kidding. But we can do that. That would be awesome.
It's a great idea. But
we're trying to help. We're trying to help Mark out as much as possible.
I'm trying to think. Haunted Taxi. They're going to be there. I'm excited about that. We got a bunch of people. We got flyers up on Ghosts of Tennessee, Rutherford County Paranormal Investigations, which is our main group, but we do the Ghost or page, and then Ghosts of Tennessee Paranormal Investigations is our group, and we have all the information up there. Like I said, if you buy a ticket, we'll send you a code to get a 3-month free trial to Paraflix. I love Paraflix. And Lee, I love your show, by the way, Repossessed. I love that show. I just started watching it because I didn't know she did it. And I'm like, oh my, it reminds me of.
Yes.
It reminds me of Haunted Collector with John Zaffis, but it's better.
I love Haunted Collector.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw that. I'm like, Repossessed. What's that about? And I
Nate, if you have not watched Lee's show, go watch it.
Holy shit, dude. I can't stop watching. It's like watching a train. It's like watching a train wreck.
Shows. There's only so many hours in the day.
Dude,
well, at least watch the first episode. How about that? Just at least try it out.
No, I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
I'm telling you, I was like, I've been like, it's like I can't stop. It's like watching a train wreck. You just want to know what happens in the next. Okay, I'll just watch one more. Then shit.
And then one more.
Okay, I'll just watch one more. But yeah, at Lee's show, guys, I'm telling you, Repossessed. I'm watching it on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, everybody, you need to go watch it.
Go watch it.
John, I know everybody. Well, most people know who John Zaffis is. He had a show a while back.
Yeah, he's the
Haunted Collector, right? Which I really liked. But with his show, it was kind of the same. I'm not dissing it, but with his show, I did like it was kind of the same thing. But with Repossessed, it's different, and it's like a haunted road show. I love it.
Question for you: if you do not pay your exorcist, if you get exorcised,
you get repossessed. Yeah, you get repossessed. But yeah, Mark, go watch it. I'm not just saying that. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
No, it's really good.
I'm not
really
saying it because Lee paid me. No, I'm kidding. But it's really good. But I like it because everybody knows what the Antique Roadshow is like. But this is a haunted version of the Antique Roadshow. Holy shit. It is awesome. They go and they have all these people bringing objects and everything.
And
And
it's
then they do-
absolutely real.
So is-
Every
Yes,
second of it.
and they
is
do. And
Antiques Roadshow anything similar to the Pawn Stars?
no, dude, where you been?
You have never. He's young.
I'm in
He's
the
a
age
baby.
that
He's a
honey,
baby.
I'm 39.
Honey.
Oh, you don't even want to know how old I am.
How old
but-
are you, Mark?
60. I turned 60 in
I've
January.
seen episodes of Antiques Roadshow, but I've never seen anything presented on there that has been anything remotely paranormal.
No,
Uh-uh.
no, no,
Stars
no,
neither,
no.
I guess, really.
Antiques Roadshow is antiques. Repossessed is a haunted version
Just
of
antiques.
of Antique Roadshow.
Well, then
And
I'm
that's what I
down.
thought. I'm like, this is like the haunted version of
Because Antiques Roadshow is boring as shit. So
No,
if
it's
they
cool.
can
I
step
like.
it up, I'm here for it.
I love. Well,
There she
yeah.
comes.
Bless your heart.
Hold it. Bless.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. Hey, Mark. Hey.
I'm on the third episode. We're almost done with the third episode, and I'm telling you guys, this is a God honest truth. It reminds me a lot of Haunted Collector, but better, because Haunted Collector was
Thank
kind of the same
you.
thing.
And
But
I'm here for it.
I saw this. I'm like, holy shit, this is a haunted version of Antique Roadshow. And I liked it when you guys were in the cave. That was really cool.
Oh, you got to
when
see.
You got to come up here. Come
Did
over
you
here.
see the Florida episode? I
That's
think you're
one
on
of the
it.
things.
This is the haunted
Yeah, that's-
object.
I
That
don't
is-
know what the
What are
fuck
you
is
doing
going
with
on
that?
right
What are
now.
you doing with that?
I cleared
Jesus.
it and put a blessing on it, and she gave it to me.
Yes.
And you will
Oh.
love the Salem episode because Lauren and Danny Perez, the Radicals,
Ooh.
Oh, the
There they are.
radicals.
That's
They
what Thomas
brought a
just
haunted
said.
Radicals.
object that will blow your mind.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
we go through with that thing is
But
unbelievable.
I
It is
like you guys
so
being in the cave. Now,
emotional.
the photograph one, oh god, that dude looked creepy in that. I don't want to give a lot away, but that kind of
He's
the-
talking
the
about
dude-
the first one.
Uncle,
I-
what's his
I
name?
love-
Uncle.
I love Danny and
You got
Lauren.
blessed.
They're very good friends of mine. Danny and Lauren, like they are bar none. Matter of fact, my haunted clown doll that currently resides in my closet is going to Danny.
You go right ahead.
I
with
want
that
it
shit.
so bad. I want it
No, you
so
don't.
bad.
But you should loan
cannot
it to me
have it.
first.
Y'all are
You
Looney
should loan
Tunes.
it to me first and let me take it to the haunted museum in Savannah.
Negative.
He won't do it. I've been begging.
Well,
Begging.
the
She has been begging. I promise you that she
Begging.
has.
No, but let me tell you guys.
well,
you guys
I don't know
you
if I would
guys-
like to have it because I've got lots and lots and
you
lots of haunted
guys
objects from my
need
haunted object
go
lab.
to Hulu, and if you don't have Hulu,
Now,
get a damn. Hold on, get a damn free trial, and
There you go.
Hulu's
Don't
pretty-
you tell me what to
Well,
do.
no,
sir.
you
I
can-
do what I want.
you can
Yeah,
get
Salem
can get-
is one of the best episodes, but truly, Gettysburg episode is the most frightening.
Yes.
can't
What
wait.
happened to
Thomas.
me was
Salem.
Now I gotta
Hey.
go watch it. Thank you. But yeah,
Yes,
but
Thomas, Salem eight.
but yeah. I started watching this. I'm like, this is a the Antique Roadshow haunted version. I'm like, because I really didn't understand. I was like, repossessed, duh, you know. And then when I started, you seeing taking all the objects and everything. But yeah, it's been really cool. Go watch it, guys. I'm telling
Mark,
you.
there's probably a few objects that I have that you have no idea that I even have. I have a vial of soil from Vlad Tepes's castle in
Oh,
Romania.
dude, yeah. Holy
And
crap!
it was given to me by a lady who claimed that she had no idea of the history, which I honestly I doubt.
Wow.
But as soon as she brought it into her house, she was experiencing vivid nightmares of people being impaled through the anus.
No bullshit to
Um,
that.
I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
If you know the lore of Dracula, you know the lore of
I do
Vlad
really
Tepes.
well. Yeah, really well. I do.
So you know who Dracula was based off of. You
Yeah.
know, it was a psychosomatic effect. She brought it into her house, and she was having nightmares. And she
Nope.
gave it. You know what? I'm all for it because I love that. I love the historical.
Well, yeah, I do too. That's what I enjoy mostly. You know, about things and everything. But I mean, I never was really into like, I know what's his name, Christopher. Well, okay, let me tell you a really quick story. So, when I was living in Arizona, it was like 1984. I was with the local JCs, and the president of the JCs at the time. Hold on,
I
president.
know a lot about the JCs.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But the JC, so the president, he goes, we just started talking about something one time. He goes, oh, I know George and Kathy Lutz. I'm like, that name sounds familiar. I said, that's the Amityville Horror.
Amityville.
Yes, they were living in Mesa, Arizona at that time, and we got to go into their home, and I got to meet them. So over every door.
Was it fake?
No. Over every door there was a cross. There was no, they didn't fake it. Everybody says they made the shit up. They didn't 100% because they told me things that people didn't know. And now I'm friends with their son Christopher. He's not. I don't think he's on Facebook anymore. I was friends with his son Christopher. Their son Christopher.
He might not be.
Christopher. I can't remember his last name. He starts with a Q or whatever. I can't remember. But he's not. But anyways, I was friends with him, and he was telling me stories. So I got to meet them, and I was like, and try not to be rude and ask a million questions about it and everything. But I got to meet him. The Amityville Horror was 100%, 100% the truth. The Conjuring House, I know Andrea Perron. I know her. She, the Conjuring House. Well, that there's a lot of trouble with the current owner of the Conjuring House.
We're not even going to discuss the Conjuring House.
No, we won't.
That's a whole nother show.
But right, but I know Andrea know all them. So all these places and everything, they're real. But what my whole point is, I know I got sidetracked, was I was never into like collecting. I was interested in
here would be
the haunted objects, but I was never interested in collecting them.
So here would be my question for you. How in the hell did Ronald DeFeo and the Amityville murders traverse room to room, firing multiple shots, and no one heard it?
Okay, so what I heard is one version I heard is that he drugged his family somehow, whether through food or whatever, and then he went out. He was on cocaine when he did it. He was
yeah, I knew that.
And then he shot them all, and then if he didn't drug them, I don't know, dude. I don't, but I heard,
because here's the thing. None of the neighbors heard gunshots.
Nope.
There was no gunshots heard outside of that house.
Nope.
So,
and I'm calling bullshit on that.
How did these murders happen?
I don't know.
Without an outside source hearing the gunshots from the gun that he was using, because I know that particular gun is very loud.
It was a high caliber rifle.
There was no
loud as shit. Yeah.
There is no way that none of the neighbors who were living 200 yards away did not hear the gunshots.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. But I've heard, and the most conspiracy theories that I've heard was, he drugged them, he did this, he did that. But you're right. I agree with you.
He could drug them. That's all great. But how in the fuck did the neighbors not hear it?
I don't know. Maybe it's all, and then everybody said that the Lutzes made it up, because now it is true that the house was shit when they got it, and they weren't told how bad it was and everything.
It is a fact.
And the house was shit. Right, and I've heard stories that the Lutzes knew it was about the murders. Then I heard, but they told me they didn't. George Lutz told me that he didn't hear about the murders there.
There is no way.
If that's true or not, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's his story.
No way you did not hear about those murders, because that was the number one news station at that point in time.
And they tried,
when you go back to the Lizzie Borden murders, right?
Right.
You look at that. That was the number one news story at that point in time. So there's no way that George Lutz did not know that these murders happened at this location.
Yeah, like I'm saying, that's what he told me.
To capitalize.
That was his story. But like
He's
I said,
a fucking liar.
I've heard different versions. I've heard so many. Oh, excuse me. conspiracy theories about it and everything. I
Is
don't
George
know.
Lowe still alive?
No, they're all gone.
I thought
They
so, because
I think
yeah,
he died in the early 90s. Oh, there's troublemaker.
Hey
no.
guys.
If that was the case, that he had claimed that he had no idea that these murders happened in this house, and he had no idea the atrocities that happened in this house. I'm sorry, he's a fucking liar.
That's what you've heard different stories about how they made it up, and I'm just saying what he told me. Whether it's true or not,
There we go.
I don't know, but I know there was a cross over every door in their house, and there was a Bible
Oh yes,
in
that's a
every.
fact.
Yeah,
So Thomas
And-
is saying that George Lutz was a practicing occultist, and that
I've
leads
never
to
heard
all
that.
of this.
Can we do
What
it?
I
That could
had
be true.
heard, because I've been part of the research group that's been working with the Lutz, case. And I've been through all the autopsy reports. I was doing some work with a forensic team as a psychic. And from what I've been able to put together, you guys roll it around in your mind. But what I heard was Mr. Lutz, basically they bought the place and they wanted to make it into something, wait a minute, let me get the names right. The Lutz family was the one that had the haunting after the murders.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay.
Right, correct. After
So
Ronald DeFeo,
the murders occurred
Right,
because
yeah.
the dad was in the mafia.
right, and he also abused the children too.
He abused
Like
the children.
he sexually
For
abused
me-
the children.
Well,
me-
his son told me he did.
hmm
For me,
Christopher, I can't remember his name.
here's the thing: is for me, and you don't take this the
Christopher.
wrong way. Please do not take this the wrong way. I kind of have to agree with what you're saying because you're the CEO of the company that I want to have a podcast for. So
No, you don't have to agree with me for that reason. It's
I
okay.
think
This is
you're
a
wrong.
drama-free thing.
I've heard when I kind of knew about the story, not a whole lot because this was a little bit before I got into the paranormal.
no,
and
I've
everything.
heard about it.
But I knew about the story, and when
Have you
he's
looked at the history?
when he said, "Oh, the Lutzes live in Mesa," I'm like, "Oh, holy shit!" And I didn't want to be rude because I mean they invited us over for dinner and everything, and they were really nice. And then I just asking them, occasional questions.
Excuse me.
But then what he told me, truth or not, obviously I don't know. I didn't know at that time whether he was telling me the truth or not. I'm like then later on in the years, I'm like, oh shit, I remember what he said, but it could have been bullshit or whatever because I don't know. But and then compared to what you hear, but you know how don't believe anything you hear on the internet because that's how World War II got started.
Here's the thing.
But
Everything you hear, whether it be via the internet, right, or word of mouth,
right,
it really does not matter.
You're
Because you
right.
would take it with a grain of salt, because there is two sides to every story. Ronald DeFeo may sit here and tell you, "Oh, I heard voices that made me do this," and his
Right.
father, who obviously isn't alive, may have said, "Well, he had mental disabilities before this ever happened."
Right.
You really don't fucking know.
But
So you-
DeFeo did a jailhouse interview like maybe 10 years ago or 8 years ago or whatever, totally changing his story, totally saying
Yes.
that I wasn't possessed and all that shit.
Exactly.
So what do you do, right?
What do you do in that circumstances? You put his ass to death, is my opinion, because he purposely murdered a family.
Whether
But
he
if-
was stoned or the devil was talking to him, no
doesn't
matter
matter
what.
if he was stoned or whatever the case
Right.
may be. If you go back
I agree
to
with you.
the 1800s, right? You committed that kind of crime, your ass was put to death by firing squad
Or stoning
or
But yeah.
stoning.
or hanging.
He's
or
already
whatever.
done that, right? He was stoned.
Yeah,
Oh
Whenever
my
you
God.
deal with,
Was.
I really feel
But-
like when you deal with people that are drug, they're inebriated in some way, they mind altered themselves to the point where they can't tell fantasy from
Let me tell
reality.
you,
You'll
I
never
actually-
get the truth of the
No,
whole
you're
thing.
right.
I
You're
actually
right.
worked with a guy. I actually worked with a guy who used to do LSD when he was younger. And let me tell you, he would have flashbacks at work.
Oh yeah.
People do not realize LSD and acid flashbacks you might hear about
Oh,
them and
Thomas
think
is
they're not
right.
real, but they are a real thing.
Yeah. What
Oh,
Thomas
yeah,
say,
absolutely.
DeFeo and Lizzie Borden have similar cases. He's right.
Lizzie Borden, you know what? I slept in the spot where
But
her mother was
that
found,
goes back
so.
that goes back too, back then, well,
No, me and Thomas are
Lizzie
feuding
killed
right now. Me and Thomas are feuding right now.
Lizzie killed, X amount of people, and then you say, "Oh no, I didn't." How are they going to prove you did? Especially back then, how are they going to prove that you
Forensics
chopped up
was non-existent.
shit? And talking about that, there's the Velisca axe murder house too, which was the
Oh,
same.
Velisca, Iowa.
Yeah, the Velisca axe murder house.
It
Back
was
then,
6 children and 2 guests.
it was
so
4 children and
4
2
children, 2
and the
parents,
2 neighbors and the 2
guests.
neighbors. Ina and Lena Stillinger were the
Yes.
children's friends that stayed, and the mom and dad. God, I can't remember. I can't remember. I believe that I remember that. But yeah, they did the same thing, and they had because what they did is the next morning when the neighbor went in and saw that they didn't call the police. They let all the neighborhood come in, and it screwed up. It screwed up the evidence.
Hey guys.
Well, that's when.
Hey, but
here's the thing.
We gotta close it down.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. It's almost an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
the reason why I was stepping in earlier, I wanted to let you know.
Contact me.
I
later,
will, Nate.
and we'll discuss that.
Go ahead.
Further.
Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
What I was going to say is some friends of mine in Savannah, Georgia, that are the hosts of the Most Haunted City on Earth podcast and Patreon account. If you go on YouTube and look them up, they're pretty fierce, and they've got the full wrap on Savannah. He used to be a tour guide all over Savannah, so he has the deets on Savannah. His name is Chris Cersei, and his wonderful wife.
Oh, that sounds
Megan. Yep. Yeah. And so they just did a Paracon recently with Patrick Walsh. But anyway, besides the fact that they, Patrick Walsh, I think everybody knows him, and Cliff Searles from Paranormal After Party.
I do. Get with it, Nate. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm going to mute you. You're going to have to behave yourself.
Who, me or Nate?
Nate.
I will behave myself when I'm told to behave, but otherwise than that, if I don't know someone, I don't know them. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to say it.
But anyway,
I was trying to invite you to something, but if you're going to need a mic, I'm not going to invite you.
I'm going to be controversial. I've made a point.
Okay, so what I was saying is that Chris Cersei and his wife have opened a museum, haunted object museum in Savannah, Georgia, and Savannah has over $7 billion worth of paranormal revenue that comes through them every year. Well, so imagine a haunted object museum that they're opening that's going to be part of their podcast studio. If they even have a small percentage of that, there's going to be a lot of foot traffic and a wonderful opportunity for the paranormal.
I know we originally planned when we come down to go to the B&B and the bridge or whatever. But now that you're talking, I mean, even if we don't go to Sorrel Weed House, I would, if you guys are up, I would still like to go down there and just look.
I think it's wonderful, but they're actually going to take some of my haunted objects for a brief time and make a beautiful repossessed station with my haunted objects. And so they're just taking them on loan. And
that's cool.
Imagine I have a QR code that takes them to my haunted object lab, where I'm doing psychic research, so they can sit there on their phone with each object and tell me what they feel. How do we see
that?
I'll be glad to show you. I'm going to do a workshop on it.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I'm
the
definitely
idea
down.
is everybody, different objects can speak to different people. For some people, a haunted object can be completely active. And then for other people, it's nothing. It doesn't even want to speak to them.
Right. Oh, but I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah. So I actually have
100%.
a helmet that came from an area in northern part of Europe close to Russia, and the
Oh.
helmet was actually labeled in a military museum as being a Nazi helmet. And this
Oh,
soldier
shit.
was killed by Nazis. And they were wondering why
Oh,
the
man.
object set off the entire museum. There were gunshots and all kind of stuff.
Y-
They
y-
drove from another state to my house, had it in a garbage bag, 3 different garbage bags, pulled up to my house, called me and said, meet me at your mailbox. They rolled the window down, passed it to me, and went on around the block and left. I never saw them again. They were terrified of this thing.
You definitely piqued my interest with that.
Yeah. So I
So-
use that
so-
object, and people
How-
do readings.
How do I pronounce your name?
It's Lee. Just call me Lee.
Dude,
Okay,
I
so-
tried.
so Lee-
I tried.
I
tried.
was sitting here
It's
for
fine.
like the last 2 minutes trying to figure out how I was gonna sit here. I'm like, how do I pronounce that? So
Just call me Lee, sweetheart. It's fine.
I've got to run. I've got to get up for work at 4:30 in the morning.
What's
my
that?
time.
Oh, Lord, you better go. But I just wanted to invite you guys, if you have any haunted objects and you would like to have a sign for advertisement for your podcast, for your magazine, for your ghost hunts, they are taking that type of thing in, and people that go there would be your audience. So that was what I was
Well,
inviting you to.
Even if I can't make it, I am more than willing to promote the event on my platform.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
A-
They're
a-
great
a- a-
people.
Yeah.
And what I do is very similar to what the radicals do, which is what they do. But we're
love Danny
all
and
haunted
Lauren. Like
object
Danny and Lauren.
lovers. And I feel like, being that the
Matter of
radicals are
fact,
on my
are
show.
we live right now?
Yes.
You know what, Danny? Fuck you. I mean that in the best way, because he got me hooked on drinking absinthe.
Ah.
He taught me how to distill it the proper way. I love Danny to death. Danny is one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, he's a doll baby.
Don't fall out of bed.
When my,
So
when my
when
grandmother
we're-
died, the radicals were by my side, holding my hand at
Oh,
the
wow.
Paracon. I found out at a Paracon I was one of the headliners,
Damn.
and
They
That's
were
messed
um,
up.
they
it
are
hit me
amazing
between the
people.
eyes. So
I
they held
love
my
Danny.
hand. They've been there for
I-
me for a long time. So that
Yeah,
was
I
what I was
love Danny.
asking. I wasn't
I
saying
love
take your
Lauren.
haunted clown, give it to someone else, not the radicals. I just thought maybe
I've
if you
tried.
loaned it to them and then loaned it to them, it would be a
I've
way for you to help
tried.
everyone.
Every time I tried to give away Ian, something comes up and I can't get rid of Ian.
Oh.
And that's fine.
You
I don't-
go
I don't-
right
I'm
ahead
going
and
to
keep
let
that.
Gwen go ahead and close it out. I hope you guys
All right.
have a blessed night.
Thank you guys. Nate, thank you. We'll talk.
Thank you.
Gwen and Lee.
yes, Mark.
As soon as we're done here, Lee, I'll go ahead and send you all that info.
Mark, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me on the podcast.
Oh,
brother.
hey, absolutely.
Anytime
We'll talk
you ever
soon.
wanna have me back,
I'll get a hold of you, and then we'll talk about things we couldn't talk about here tonight. So
Yeah, absolutely, because I'm more than intrigued.
yeah, it's
All right,
it's
guys.
interesting. All right, night,
Tell us
everybody.
good
Thank
night.
you.
All right, good night, everyone. Gwen, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, night, guys.
Yes. Good night, Mark. Good night, Nate.
Night.